All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. How we doing this fine Wednesday morning? We are, it's a not brisk, not quite warm. It's warming up here in mid Michigan. Let's build a poll here today, guys. We are going to be doing a mock draft. So let's see. Should we go edge in the first round? Gonna throw a little poll up here for you guys. Gonna go ahead and see. So I decided we're gonna go ahead and run a little mock draft for everybody here today. It's a little bit slow on the news cycle, and we haven't done a mock draft in say a week or two here. So I figured, why not kick it on over and we're going to kick it on over back to our old friend here, Pro Football Sports Network. Let me put my monitor screen up here so I can keep an eye on everything, make sure it's running smooth. All right, guys, now that we're ready, set up and ready to rock and roll, I appreciate you guys, slogging through that there. Welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show. I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest hat and beard. Today, we are going to be doing a little mock draft simulator. There's not a lot of news that I want to talk about outside of, Aaron Rodgers. It's confirmed the Vikings are not interested in Aaron Rodgers, and they will be moving forward with J.J. McCarthy. Those of you who thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to follow suit with Brett Favre, well, it looks like he might be heading to the Steel City. If I were a guy to kind of maybe hedge my bet, I'd say Aaron Rodgers ends up as a Pittsburgh Steeler. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, we're going to be utilizing ProFootballNetwork.com's mock draft simulator. They got a nice little free tool here where you can set how many rounds you want to go, how fast you want the speed to go, and you can pick all the teams. I think you can pick multiple teams. Yeah, you can pick multiple teams here. We are obviously going to be selecting our hometown heroes, the Detroit Lions, and we will be doing all 7 rounds at a normal speed so we can kind of break down and analyze the picks as they come along. So, guys, I appreciate you hanging out, partying with me so far. Before we get into this mock draft, though, if you could just do me a rock-solid favor, go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you're new here, comment down below if you're watching this post-live stream what we should do, or if you're here in the chat, go ahead and engage with the chat a little bit. And finally, if you could just click that share button for me, copy that link down onto your clipboard. It does so much for the growth of the channel here. We're in the slow part of the off season here, and our growth really hasn't been as aggressive as it is during the regular season, and that's totally fine. Not only is it the off season, but we are also doing a little bit of a transitionary period here in the show where we're doing more live shows. Obviously, we've been doing live shows for this wrap up about 2 weeks here, and I kind of like the direction. Although the metrics don't reflect it as far as my short form content, shorter videos, as well as shorts. I enjoy doing the live show a lot more. It feels more authentic, more genuine, and I think that it leads to a better overall experience for both the viewers and myself here. I don't feel as rushed to be as edited or as polished. I can be a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more freewheeling. So please, just bear with me while we continue to work through the kinks here. Things will be polished eventually. We are doing well. We are doing well. The viewers, though, the viewership, obviously it's the off season and the metrics don't really reflect, but I'm not letting that get me down. So we're here. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and fire up this mock draft simulator. There's not going to be a big news story, and we're going to be kind of moving things right along. Just sidebar. Yesterday we had mucho success in the side yard, sweeping and cleaning it out. Unfortunately, there's a lot more packing than I thought. Things were a little bit damper than I expected them to be, so we were a little bogged down. Going to need to finish up today, and just a little side note here. I did call into work because, well, to quote the great Jim Rome, I take a lot of time because I get a lot of time, right? And what really pisses me off is that my manager responded. He said, well, if you must, I had to stay until 8 o'clock last night to cover the event because I had my off day, and this means another employee is going to have to stay later tonight until 6:30 to cover the event. And to which my response is, and I don't know if I want to say this over text or if I just want to tell him, say it to his face tomorrow. Well, you weren't really all that fucking concerned about that when you were trying to fire me in November, were you? you dick. All right, so now that's off my chest and out of the way, let's go ahead and enter the solo draft. Let's get after this. Here we go. I'm going to sit at 28. Cam Ward going number 1 overall, followed by Abdul Carter. We'll kind of recap this a little bit here. Let's just pause. Bam. Was at the top first 9, first 8. So Cam Ward went first overall. Abdul Carter. Will Campbell going at number 3, sliding up, making that, getting some protection there, trying to build a foundation because Evan Neal didn't really work out for the New York Giants. And then here, you heard us talking yesterday, both myself and Beantown Breakdown. Make sure to subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. Talking that Ahmad Membu, the Pat's going to go ahead and, in this mock draft, going to go ahead and get some insurance here to keep their franchise quarterback up and allow him to really hit his ceiling. The Jags are going to go with Ashton Genty. That's a little bit of a twisteroo there. Haven't seen that. Normally see Ashton Genty going at 6, where if Ashton Genty isn't there, the Raiders go and take Travis Hunter. Mason Graham, the big defensive tackle out of Michigan, going to the New York Jets. And we're going to go back-to-back Michigan players. Will Johnson going to the Carolina Panthers. Those are both solid moves right there for both organizations. Overall, outside of the Genty Hunter, you'd almost expect those two to be flipped. But, things happen in the draft. Things get weird, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and resume this draft. Shedeur Sanders. Oh, wow. Shedeur Sanders going to the Saints. That is an interesting little option that I don't think many people are really considering. That is Shedeur Sanders going to go and be a Saint. I think because most people see Shedeur Sanders going earlier than 9, right? A lot of people see Shedeur Sanders going somewhere here in the possibly at number 3, maybe even number 6, but you don't see him really going. I haven't seen him mocked to the Saints too often. Calvin Banks time and time again gets mocked to the Chicago Bears there, and if this holds true, then you're seeing the Bears try and follow suit with what they did, what Ben Johnson's predecessors in Chicago or in Detroit did. That is built from the inside of the trenches outward. And then Tyler Warren, number 11 overall to the San Francisco 49ers. In this instance, you're looking at best available talent, probably trying to replace or get insurance for a top-flight tight end replacement for George Kittle. Shamar Stewart going to the Houston or Dallas, whoever, you know what I'm saying. Tyler Booker then goes to the Miami Dolphins. I actually kind of like Tyler Booker. Tetrio McMillan, the second receiver off the board, going to the Colts. Kind of an interesting play there, as we've seen the Colts sign Michael Pittman Jr. to a contract extension last year, and then kind of didn't really produce as well as everyone may have been expecting or wanting him to do. However, look who was throwing him the ball. Maybe if you had a better quarterback. The Tampa Bucks then trade up to go and grab Malachi Starks. Michael Williams going number 16 overall to the Arizona Cardinals. And if we're keeping tabs on everything here, boys, we got some ballers here that are just sliding right down to the Detroit Lions at number 28, hopefully. But we're still a ways away. We're still a ways away from the number 28 pick. Let's go ahead and resume this draft. Matthew Golden, Jalen Walker. Damn it, Jalen Walker. Damn it. I was going to try and get sneaky with it there. Derek Harmon to the Broncos. Jahade Barron, cornerback out of Texas, going to the Atlanta Falcons. They do need a little bit of help there. Probably going best available player. I do like this move here by the Broncos, getting drafting to your strengths, if it were, going defense in the first round. Damn it. Fuck me in the ass. That is exactly, damn it. God, damn it. Pause. Well, let's just go ahead and get it down to us. Now we'll pause. All right. Damn it. Ow, fuck me in the goat ass. Shit, you fucking whiz that thing. The Steelers took our guy, James Pierce Jr., and I've seen him go as early as the top 5. I've seen him fall back to us at 28. And James Pierce Jr. was kind of the guy I was hoping to get sneaky, and he was going to slide to us. Now, if he is still available at 21, that's kind of a climb, but we do have the capital if Brad Holmes wanted to get aggressive and go after James Pierce Jr. Maybe we see a situation where, maybe the Steelers don't sign Aaron Rodgers and maybe they're in the market for a quarterback and maybe they, for some reason, are really high on, like, I don't know, Hendon Hooker, and you can package Hendon Hooker in a trade deal to go up to 21 to go after James Pierce Jr. That's going to cost a lot, though. And in this scenario, the Pittsburgh Steelers just make a terrifying defense all the more scary with James Pierce Jr. I actually think he's probably the best overall edge prospect as a natural edge rusher, hand in the dirt type rusher. And then we see the San Diego Superchargers taking, looks like a little bias here by head coach Jim Harbaugh going after Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan. Shaven Revel going to the Packers, probably a need. I don't know how I feel about Revel. He's been mocked to the Lions quite regularly. I don't really like taking a swing. Now, sometimes it works out. Sometimes you get a Quinyon Mitchell, right? A hyper-talented individual out of an incredibly small school. Shaven Revel, though, coming off an injury, if he slides, honestly, if we were to trade out and he falls out of the first round and he's still there in the second round, you might consider going after Shaven Revel. I myself wouldn't go corner first round last year, second round last year, first round this year. That is a lot of cornerbacks, and especially we know that Brad Holmes has a high standard for corners. We also spent a lot of money on DJ Reed, and we already have now two proven veteran assets, one proven rookie, what was once a rookie asset, and one unproven but on tape measures out really well with Enos Rakestraw Jr. So I just don't see the Lions going corner in the first round. Josh Simmons, the tackle out of Ohio State. The Texans obviously trying to keep C.J. Stroud upright. Last year he spent a lot of time down in the dirt. This sucks right here. The Minnesota Vikings going after Nick Emmanwori. This dude had himself a combine. He jumped damn near straight out of the building. Jahad Campbell going to the Rams. The Lions also, I think, had a visit with him. Kind of a kick in the balls. Nick Scorton. And this is where the edge position starts to get real goofy, boys. Starts to get real goofy. So here we are. And there is a lot of guys, a lot of names that we have been after. Right? How we doing, chat? You guys hanging in there real good? Hanging out? All right, I appreciate it. Let's see here. So we could go, let's just remove the wide receivers because we're not going to think about replacing a potential JMO or drafting a potential JMO replacement. Tyleik Williams, Walter Nolan, Donovan Ezekiraru. We've mocked him before. Gray Zabel, Kenneth Grant, Donovan Jackson, Mike Green. So the question, let's man, oh man, there's a lot of guys here. Let's go ahead and let's pick up the phone. All right, let's do our our best Brad Holmes impression. Let's go ahead and pick up the phone and see what we got. See, this was literally this is the exact scenario that we seen yesterday. 2 days ago when we read what the Lions could potentially do in a mock draft situation, and that is trade 28 for 40, the 244 up into the third round for the 71, right? So that would give us 2 seconds and 2/3. Oh, shit, man. See, now this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the type of trade I'm talking about right here. Trade back from 28 back to 33 and also acquire a second round pick for in next year's draft. That is a juicy offer right there. I like that offer a lot. The Rams are going to give up quite a bit. So there's somebody that they really want. I'm not going to be dancing partners with the Rams just because we've already had a franchise-altering for both organizations blockbuster trade that sent the career trajectory of Matt Stafford closer to a potential gold jacket, and then a career resurgence for Jared Goff and making him a local folk hero here in the hearts and minds of the Detroit Lions faithful. But we're going to just reject the Rams, even though I do. Shit, man. I really like the second and third next year. That is some draft capital. That is some serious draft capital. However, going from 28 to 55, we are going to miss out on a lot of guys that I think can be real sneaky acquisitions early on in the second round. So we're going to go ahead and reject the Rams. Bam, reject the Rams. All right, so here's the deal. Do we want to get draftable players this year, or do we want to have more assets next year? This is kind of man. All right, look, I'm gonna be honest. I would rather take the second round next year than the third round this year. Does that make sense? Oh fuck, though. I really like the idea of moving up, getting 2 in the third round. Shit, this is analysis paralysis here, fellas. All right, you know what? This is a mock draft. We read a scenario like this with the Saints the other day, so we're going to reject that. We are actually going to pull the trigger with the Cleveland Browns. Now, my logic here is this moves us, basically back the 5 picks, right? And then we get additional capital next year. What Brad Holmes would like to do with that capital, we could always use that for trade material to move up after a certain guy this year. We could always use it towards the trade deadline. God forbid we run into a situation that happened last year. This gives us a more valuable asset for potential trading, if not just more picks later on next year when things could happen. And, maybe we are in a little bit more of a salary cap type situation where those rookie contracts moving forward, a year later than this year would be better. So we're going to go ahead and accept the Cleveland Browns here. And they went after Emeka Egbuka. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Hang on. I don't want to. Let's hide you. All right. Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. They do need help there. Walter Nolan. So the commies got even more beef in the middle. Zeke Araru went to the Bills. That's a good fit for him. Luther Bolden. Wow, that is a climb up there. But, hey, you know what? That does give the New England Pats a wide receiver, first-round wide receiver, right? A guy that they can build off of. And a young talent to pair with your young franchise quarterback. And then Donovan Jackson. Damn it, the fucking Eagles. They let Mekhi Becton walk in free agency. They traded to bring in his potential replacement, Kenyon Green, but Donovan Jackson would just be insurance upon insurance. So if we sit where we're at here at number 30, the first pick in the second round, let's see what the trade offers are. Nope. Just one. Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not trading that far back. All right, so here we are. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, man, Mike Green falls to the first pick in the second round. I'm not going to play games. I'm not going to get cute with it here. We've already picked up. We did the best possible thing we could, right? We traded out of the first round. It cost us our first round pick. We moved back 5 spots to the first pick in the second round, and then we picked up next year's future second round pick from the Cleveland Browns. We missed out on one guy that I would have considered taking, and that was Donovan Jackson. All the guys that I wanted in the first round are still here. And the guy that sits atop of my list, I've talked about him all season long, Mike Green, defensive end out of Marshall. Smaller school, you're not burning a first-round pick on it, and you got a second-round pick for next year. This is, in my mind, the biggest possible win you could have. So welcome aboard, Mike Green. Oh, Jalen Milroe I was actually thinking if Milroe continued to fall, let's pause this draft. Milroe continued to fall, I might have considered taking him with our second pick in the second round. Gray Zabel going to the Chiefs at 38. Clearly a replacement for Joe Tooney. Would have also considered if he continued to slide. And then the Bears are going to go ahead and beef up at running back. Let's let this just continue to run out. See if there's anybody that really pops off the board that we were after. Landon Jackson. Damn, Landon Jackson. Another guy I was considering. I know the double dip isn't necessarily my favorite thing to do. Denzel Burke. Schweschinger. No, I'm tired of trading. And we're just gonna sit where we're at for now. Okay, so here we are. This is our second pick in the second round. Lots of edge players available. A couple of guys we were looking after. Jackson Dart's still on the board. That's wild. That's wild. Now, Mason Taylor is a guy that I would have considered had we not recently made our free agent moves at tight end. I think we're kind of locking in at the tight end spot with the people that we have available. Man, oh man. Ooh, Shamar Turner. We're kind of reaching down there. Who do we got? Anybody up here? Ooh, Maxwell Harrison. Oh, yeah, this cat. Yeah, he's a little skills, making him a natural in coverage while he thrives in a reactive role. Refining his mental game will be key to unlocking his full potential if he sharpens his instincts. I don't want a head case. Hey, here's our guy. Isn't this the dude that we just seen earlier? Yeah, looks brightest at center, where his fluid moment and natural ability to anchor the line set him apart. His powerful hands, explosive first step, and sharp awareness. Defensive scheme make him a standout interior presence. With the right development, he has the tools to become a key piece for any offense. Mabau's effortless athleticism makes him an outstanding option in zone rushing attack, but his downhill pop indicates his scheme versatility. His natural stout anchor also projects well to either interior positions. His projection between center and guard is a bit complex. Operating with space between himself and defenders is where troubles come. Closing that distance is a more consistent option at guard rather than center, although his quick wit projects nicely to the very center of an offensive line. What about Tate Rutledge? Day 2 pick, known for his strengths. You know what? I do like... Let's go Mabau. Let's go ahead and blend a little bit of the mock draft that we read the other day with what we're doing here, right? Bam. Marcus Mabau. Welcome aboard, Detroit Lions. You could say this is a replacement for Kevin Zeitler, or you could say this is the heir apparent to the Graham Glasgow role of a super interior offensive lineman. I actually kind of like this now the more that I think about it. Now we're into the third round where we're sitting until pick 102. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. While we're waiting, you guys having a good rest of your afternoon. Hopefully get out there and enjoy the day because there's some, at least here in mid-Michigan, some shit weather coming the next few days here for the next week or so. We're going from this blue ballsing tease of spring right back to the shit mess of, well, what is technically still early spring. All right, I already stated that we're going to reject all offers. I'm done trading. Even though this would be a prime opportunity for us to jump around, make some plays, go after some guys. Hey, Shamar Turner's still on the board, way down at 102. Welcome aboard, Shamar Turner. Let's go ahead and read up some stats. Is a disruptive and versatile defensive lineman with the ability to excel at multiple positions across the front. He combines a quick first step with impressive strength, allowing him to penetrate gaps and create consistent backfield pressure. Turner's hand usage and lateral movement make him effective against both the run and the pass, while his motor and physicality enable him to shed blocks and pursue plays with intensity. His agility and athleticism for his size are notable, giving him flexibility to line up inside or the edge. Turner has a tendency to play with a high pad level at times, which sucks because the low man wins, which costs him in leverage battles while also lacking consistency in the run game at times. Damn it, I don't like that. Quinn Ewers. I kind of like that. Jordan Birch I also really like. So, oh man, Jordan Birch, huh? Yep. All right, we're going to have to go. We're going to do the Brad Holmes thing and double-double. Brad Holmes likes to double-double. Hey, Mr. Detroit City. Let's go, Lions. Let's go, Mr. Detroit City. My dude. I hope the weather's just baller down there in Florida, man. It's nice up here for the day, but it's going to be shitty here for the next week or so. So we're going to go ahead and do the Brad Holmes double-double. And this is our third round. We didn't have this pick, right? This is a luxury pick. This is our compensatory pick from Aaron Glenn, being hired as the head coach of Torrey Horton, if we didn't re-sign Timmy. Dude, so Mr. Detroit City, I know we're a little delayed on the chat, and I might change the latency player. I might play around with that to see if we can kind of sync things up a little bit. I was very sold on going wide receiver in the middle rounds, but then we did re-sign Fireball Tim Patrick. So I am resorting our wide receiver pick to probably the rounds 5 or possibly 4 if there's somebody there. But yeah, Torrey Horton is a solid place right there to go. I would actually consider maybe even a Quinn Ewers, just because all indicators are that the Lions are out on Hendon Hooker. But we're going to do the Brad Holmes things. We're going to double-double. We're going to go Jordan Birch at the back end of the third round. This was our compensatory pick, right? That was a nice little steal we got. So we had 2 second-rounders, 1 third-rounder, because I opted to not trade and be dancing partners with the New Orleans Saints because I really wanted Mike Green. I wasn't willing to gamble that he would have been there at 40, so I pulled the trigger on him in 33. And I'm very pleased with getting Mike Green at 33. Nope, we're just rejecting all offers. Here we are, 130. Oh, would you look at that? The guy we just read about yesterday. Now, I just got done saying I wasn't going to go wide receiver until rounds 5, but this Pat Bryant guy, dude, I've been reading a lot about him now after yesterday's little article, or 2 days ago, whatever day we read about the potential people there. And the line that just continues to jump out at me. What is it here? My original mock, I went Landon 1, Sawyer 2, Turner 3, Horton 4, but that was before Brad's moves. Yeah, the Landon move there. Yeah, that's that's solid. And then Jack Sawyer in the second round. If you've been watching my content, I've been just super high on Jack Sawyer, but I wasn't willing to take Jack Sawyer over Mike Green. Mike Green is the second best edge rusher on my board. On my board, it goes James. Now, my board isn't necessarily all talent. My board is specifically reality of where players will be at our picking spots would be James Pierce Jr., and then Mike Green, Jack Sawyer, Shamar Stewart. That's actually kind of how I have them ranked out. But here we are, 130, and we're going to go look. He's actually projected at the 130 spot. Pat Bryant. The line that continues to jump out at me is says he almost prefers run blocking as opposed to pass catching. So we're going to go ahead and take Pat Bryant because that is just a Brad Holmes type player. A little bit bigger than St. Brown. I don't think he's quite the physicality, the size and frame as a Fireball Tim Patrick. But we do need another younger playmaker. We see what happened when Leaf got hurt. And if something were to happen to Saint or JMO or any combination of our wide receivers, having a developmental player who, tends to kind of doesn't need to be the guy, but is more than happy to contribute. That's the type of guy you want. Maybe you go 4 wide. And having 4 wide receivers out there, one that can really run block as a rookie right out the rip, gives you the ability to run the draw plays on 3rd and long that we kind of got accustomed to with Benedict Arnold calling the plays. Who knows what will happen with John Morton, not Johnny Morton. I'm not really that high on John Morton, if I'm being honest, guys. I really, really thought that Mark Brunell or even Hank Fraley. I really would have liked to have seen Hank Fraley get the offensive coordinator job for the Detroit Lions, but they opted to go loosely based out of house. I mean, yeah, he does have experience in the organization and organizations with Dan Campbell prior to Dan Campbell becoming the head coach in Detroit. He followed us over here as a coordinator and then went to be the passing game coordinator in Denver, where he was very successful with Sean Payton and Bo Nix, and then came back here to be the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. Think what you will with that. I need to see him prove it. I need to see him prove what he's capable of doing. And, that's just my thoughts on the matter. I'm a Hank Fraley guy. All right, here we go. We are sitting in the sixth round, round 6, because we don't have a 5th round pick. Or is this our 5th round pick? I don't know. Regardless, we're getting kind of out into the weeds here, boys. We do need a safety. Wouldn't mind Devin Neal. That's a sneaky little play right there. Guy's a little kind of good out of the backfield. Man, getting down in the weeds here, boys. Jackson Hawes. You know what? But we just re-signed. Shane Zylstra. And then we went after Yaboa, the tight end from the Jets. Man, not a lot here really jumping off the board to me here, boys. Not a lot. Oh, man. I kind of want to go Devin Neal, the running back out of Kansas. Yikes. We're getting off into the weeds here, boys. All right. You know what? Let's just go ahead and grab us a depth piece at running back. We, big fellas, yeah, I know. Connor Colby, Jack Nelson. Yeah, we could go some offensive line. I did go Mabau early on. I ended up taking the versatile offensive tackle out of Purdue. Now here's my logic. Jordan James, Cody Lindenberg. We could go Lindenberg, grab some linebacker depth. Played 5,000. Who has only played 1,500 snaps in college, which means he has some legitimate durability concerns despite a nice frame. He finished the final season 94 tackles. Never mind. I'm good on him. I kind of want to go running back because of the I'm just a little uneasy with Monty getting hurt last year. A little PTSD from being short at the running backs room. I don't think Craig Reynolds is really that guy. Oh, but we do have Vaki. I forget about Vaki. And the thing is, I sit here and I pretend like this actually matters. Let's take a look at the tackle room. What about the guard room? Do we go pure center? Do we want to go after a pure center? Let's go with Man, I'm having paralysis. Linebacker depth from Notre Dame, huh? All right, let's take a look over here. Linebacker depth from Notre Dame. Who we got coming out of Notre Dame? Looks like everybody is kind of picked over. Let's look at the safety room. Hey, Kitten Crawford. Versatile safety known for his exceptional sight line speed and dynamic playmaking abilities. Transitioning from running back and cornerback roles in high school to safety to college, he has demonstrated significant growth. And his defense, his final collegiate season at Nevada, Crawford led 76 tackles, recorded 2 INTs, 1 return for a tug, earned all Mountain West honorable mentions. His aggressive play style and special teams prowess enhances his value to prospective teams. However, his tackling technique requires refinement, as he occasionally leads with the shoulder, resulting in missed tackles. Crawford's speed and versatility make him a compelling prospect for defensive backfield depth, and special teams contribute. Welcome aboard, Kitten Crawford. Probably taken last round. Okay, all right. I'll keep an eye out for the linebacker. Oh, gotcha. Taking the round prior. Yeah, I'm kind of dense, boys. All right, here we go. Just Dalton Cooper is the guy I was kind of eyeing. Let's go ahead and open it all up to everybody. So we got some depth pieces here in the defensive backfield. Let's see if there's a corner. Maybe we pull the trigger on a corner here, huh? Maybe pull the trigger on the corner. We got 2 more picks here. Yeah, I got 2 more picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and I took a safety, wide receiver, edge, tackle, edge. See what's available at the cornerback room, huh? Hmm. 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 I've gotten too many edge players in this draft already. We got it around here. Man, there's just. All right, Jackson Hawes. Welcome aboard, blocking tight end in the 6th round, 7th round, whatever fucking round this is, 6th round. You know, Shiloh Sanders will be there late, but fuck that circus. Yeah, dude, you are right, Shiloh Sanders. Now, let me ask you this. Would Shiloh Sanders be, if he's an undrafted rookie free agent? So he's already been plucked over. Looks like he's already been plucked over. What I was going to say, oh yeah, looks like he's already been taken. Yep, I'm not finding Shiloh Sanders. What I was going to say is if he was an undrafted rookie free agent, would that be worth the pick here? You know, we have too much. I think we have good depth at linebacker as is. Let's take Tyron Ingram Dawkins out of Georgia. Yeah, why not? A little depth at defensive tackle. All right, let's see how we grade out. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, fellas. Sorry about that. Choking on my own spit. Oh, yeah. Look at them picks, huh? And then we picked up a 2nd round pick next year. I kind of like this. I kind of like this, right? I kind of like this. What we ended up doing was we ended up really following suit with what we read the other day. We need a backup safety for sure, but I don't know. We lose a game or two, then some fans will call for Dion to come. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, which is why I would just avoid the entire Sanders family circus, right? I would just avoid it because like you say right there, if Shiloh's on roster and we start to slip at all, then starts the circus of, well, maybe Dion needs to take his game to the pros, right? Then it's going to be start meddling, and it's going to be just stuff that the organization, the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes, and Dane Campbell don't want to deal with, right? So here we go. Let's just break this down, look it over our picks real quick. So we ended up trading out of 28 to 33, the first pick in the 2nd round, right? We ended up pulling the trigger on Mike Green because he slipped from the 1st round. Might as well make him the first pick in the 2nd round. This is the guy we've been eyeing all off season. So not only did we trade out of the 1st round, pick up a 2nd round next year, but we were still able to get our guy, right? We were still able to get the guy that we've been after. After getting high on Marcus Mabau, reading an article, our 2nd pick in the 2nd round, the very versatile offensive lineman from Purdue, we pulled the trigger on him. I like that he's listed as a tackle, but projects to be an interior offensive lineman. That bodes well for the Detroit Lions, both as a potential need as well as just being that type of guy. We know that Brad Holmes and company like to have as many tools in their toolbox as possible. This gives us some versatility along the offensive line. We don't necessarily know, although there has been video coming out of Giovanni Manu. Yeah, Giovanni Manu. I always call him Manu Ginobili, but I said it right for the first time. Giovanni Manu coming out looking good in his development. Maybe he moves into the interior offensive line or becomes a swing tackle. We did re-sign Dan Skipper. However, Kevin Zeitler's departure leaves a hole in the interior offensive line. So you think, obviously, Christian Mahogany slides into that role. You still have a depth spot both at your rotationary, even though Keoti Asawika is viable. I'd like a little bit more assurance there, and both with Mabau, it gives you the both guard positions assurance as well as he can play or has the ability to play center, even if that means you don't project him to be your backup center, but God forbid something happens to Frank and Graham Glasgow has to play center, then you can just plug in Mabau. Similar size profile to Christian Mahogany. In the 3rd round, with our luxury pick in the 3rd round, this is purely luxury, okay? This is our luxury pick for Aaron Glenn. And what we did was we double dipped, as Brad Holmes has been known to do, right? Think Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Paschal. Think Enos Rakestraw technically Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw. He likes to double dip on these guys, right? Didn't we take Liam McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike in the same draft? Bingo, bango, bongo. So here you got Jordan Birch, solid pass rush prospect, and you're adding depth with this purely luxury pick. This is just all luxury. And then the fourth round here, we ended up going Pat Bryant. We got real high on Pat Bryant after reading an article a couple days ago. His run blocking ability, he's a good size, 6'1", plus 200 pounds. Projects to be, what I would say Josh Reynolds or Tim Patrick style role in the Detroit Lions offense if he comes on board. But mostly, we like having that option as a viable downfield blocker. We like the pedigree of a player like that to fill in and fit with the team. Kitan Crawford, then in the fifth round, because we do need safety depth, reading up on him. Although his tackling is sus from time to time, as it said, he leads with his shoulders. That is something that can be coached up. He's got a lot of speed and a tenacity on him, which allows him to be versatile for both safety positions, but also moving his draft stock up because of his availability and ability to play at a high level on special teams. We like versatile players here in Detroit. After Kitan Crawford, we got a little just lazy with these last two picks. Jackson Hawes, read up on him. Very Dan Campbell type player, both in his personality and his psych profile. Run blocking tight end, not necessarily a need for us, and this really crowds the tight end room. You think you got Laporta at the 1, Brock Wright at your 2, and then a combination fighting for that third spot. Now, we could go 4 tight ends and utilize one as a hybrid running back, fullback type role. Maybe get away from a traditional fullback type position and go with 4 tight ends, but then you're still for the 3, you still got 3 or 4 guys really competing, and that would be Yeboah, Shane Zylstra, James Mitchell, and then the potentiality of drafting a Jackson Hawes out of Georgia Tech. And then at the 244 spot, we ended up going Tyron Ingram Dawkins, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. He is projected as the number 200th overall player on most boards, according to Pro Football Sports Network. And we were able to get him at the 244, so some possible value there, but also a nice little depth piece. And then we walked away from the draft by being able to trade out of the first round, move back 5 spots, get the guy that we were after, and pick up a second-round pick from Cleveland in next year's draft. The only thing I would have liked to have done is if Crawford, if there was another safety, I like these first 3, even this 4th pick, Pat Bryant. Maybe go after a safety or a corner for a little bit of a depth piece there, and then follow it up with instead of Kitan Crawford, you go wide receiver here. But I wasn't willing to bypass the potential for Pat Bryant. Again, his run blocking acumen is just too much for me to really give up on. And we know that there is the possibility that J-Mo maybe won't be a Detroit Lion for his entire career. Maybe. That's all speculation. That's neither here nor there. That's just me, blowing smoke and making some predictions way too early on. So what do you guys think about this draft here? How do you feel? I'm really happy with this Mike. I'm so happy. Now, what we could have done, and this is the only other option that we could have done, was, we could have taken an earlier some trades, and obviously if we'd have gone with the Saints, we would have had more of a gamble to get Mike Green, but we would have had another pick in that 3rd round. So hypothetically, Mike Green's not there, and maybe we go a different way there, but then also Jordan Birch, and then another player. Maybe we go, I don't know. I don't know. I do like these first 2 picks, these first 3 picks, these first 4 picks, and then some solid plays here in the back end. But, man, that second-round pick out of Cleveland next year really tickles my pickle that we were able to get out of the first round, move back 5, pick up Mike Green, and a second-round pick next year. That is – can't ask for much more than that. I'm not mad at it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think down below? I'll give it a couple minutes here to let the chat kind of catch up a little bit. I do know that it's some latency issues here. Maybe we'll try and fiddle with that. I don't want quality of the video quality to drop off too much. So Mr. Detroit City says, looks good to me. Get us thinking about life after JMO. Fuck extending him trade. Yes, dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. That is actually the camp that I'm kind of in. Like, I like JMO, dude. He's got game-breaking speed, right? The dude can take the top off the defense at any time. But at what point is dealing with, a possible Tyreek Hill type deal where he turns into a basket case? You know what I'm saying? And JMO, he's going to be coming into his 5th year here pretty soon. We could option him for his 5th year, see what he's got, see what it takes. But I like the idea of trading him, getting what you can for him, you guys know that I'm really high on draft capital, right? So trading JMO, life after JMO, something we do maybe need to start considering. I'm not saying Pat Bryant's going to be that guy. 6'2", 204. Long-strided athlete, can eat up ground and cushion between giving a free release. However, he lacks immediate explosiveness off the line of scrimmage, which is something JMO has, which can hinder his ability to separate quickly from defenders. His combination of size, ball skills, and football intelligence makes him a promising NFL prospect. Teams seeking a reliable perimeter target. So you're not going to play him in the slot too much, but, there is that possibility, right? So I'm happy with this. And if this is the similar to that Mike Green, I'm never gonna get over that I was able to trade out of the first round, still pick up Mike Green and get a second round next year. That is, Brad Holmes might as well have me in the war room. Hey, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for me. I appreciate you guys hanging out, doing this little mock draft with me here. It has been fun. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. We're only doing Monday through Wednesday these first couple weeks till we get closer to the NFL draft. So this is going to be it for this week. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of the finishing end of the week. Enjoy the weekend. Tag isn't even an option for JMO when the time comes either, because at that point it'll be around $30 million a year. So let's just trade him before he implodes and ruins his trade value. Where's the lie? Where is the lie, dude? That is very accurate. That is so accurate. That is 100% accurate. And I'm glad to see that Mr. Detroit City, you as well as other members of the community, we're starting to finally move and look forward and understand how this works. We're no longer an organization that needs to be fixed right now, but we do need to be thinking about the future, the dollars of the future. What can we get for the assets that we have on hand? What are we going to do with the assets? Brad Holmes is good at identifying the guys that he wants, right? That's why he extended Sewell early. That's why he extended Amon-Ra a little bit early. You know what I'm saying? Didn't give the opportunity, struck before the market went bananas. And I think getting out from underneath JMO, while his value is still high before he flames out, is probably the best option. I'm not a JMO hater. I'm just, was a thought exercise, I guess, for lack of a better word. But yeah. All right, fellas, I appreciate it. You guys stay out of trouble. Have a good rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. We will catch you guys bright and early next Monday morning for more NFL, Detroit Lions news and content. Don't call for bail. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga bonga. Frig off.